All right, here we are. 4 parts. We covered OSF. Now we're going to look at another part of the architecture. I call it OCRR, Operation Children Rescue and Resilience. So it's about creating an environment for our children in public school. There's this extension into the family and the community as well, such that the children are unleashed into and supported into their natural essence, which is that of adventurers and explorers and discoverers. They're this naturally, and all we do is create an environment that supports their full-out journey, lifelong journey in exploration, discovery, adventuring, and in contribution from where I'm coming from, which I think naturally happens. So this is a new model for education. It's not brand new. It's been around for quite a while, actually, but it's only experienced in very small pockets in this country. And it's all about self-directed, self-generated learning. It's about talent management. It's developing of gifts, gifted and talented, or gifting and talented, and unleashing our kids in their own self-generated, self-directed, lifelong learning adventures. Right? So you see a model down here below me. You see this model, enrichment triad. This is the school-wide enrichment model, and I have links in the text of this post. But I want to walk you through type 1, type 2, type 3. Right? So type 1s are an intentional effort to bring into the experience of the children from the environment, from the community, and across, they share these things with each other as they acquire some level of mastery in an area of interest. But we flood these kids with these exciting stories about exciting places to explore, and industries and areas of exploration, areas of investigation, areas where you can create gifts for the maximum positive, helping solve problems in the world and so forth, and otherwise be very, very satisfying personally and valuable socially, culturally. And we flood these kids with these type 1s, which are basically experiences and presentations offered by local community professionals, and with the internet, it could be global community. I mean, these type 1s are, if they're offered open source across global communities, national communities, school districts, then there's this infinite supply of these type 1s, and you just flood these kids with these type 1s, and what you're looking for as a school environment, an intentional school environment, is which type 1s turn which kids on, right? And when the kid gets turned on, some enthusiasm about it, then you guide that kid on a exploration into that space that's theirs, that they own. It's not, you don't give them a book. You can give them a bunch of books, but you want to point them to a library as opposed to hand them a book and point them to a world. So this is where the kid basically says, I'm interested in this, right? That's type 1. Type 2 now is a very basic, rudimentary, what are the processes of creating within what industry? Start with the scientific method of how you solve problems, how you answer questions that haven't been answered, that you think haven't been answered yet well. And then each, whatever the type 1 turn on area was, let's say it's photography or filmmaking, or let's say it's physics and sound, the physics of sound. I know someone in my life who's very interested in that, who was a student. then what you do is you invite professionals in the community to come in and make sure that the student who's interested in that area understands the methods and processes that professionals in that area use. Right? So that's type 2. It's group training. Right? Now, we get to type 3 now. Those type 1s that we started, empowered with this, this mentoring and offering of the the processes and the methodologies and the techniques used in that industry that line up with the type 1 interest area. And then a type 3 is where a student and maybe a group of students together who kind of share this interest will pick a specific problem or a specific question that has been answered, and will then engage in a project, initiate a project to solve that problem or answer that question. And they're encouraged, it's real world stuff. They're encouraged because the community, there's this environment external to the walls of the school and the classroom that come in and mentor this process. And the children are encouraged in their type 3 initiatives to get as close as possible to and maybe even exceed the current professional level analysis and solution creation in that area of interest. I hope I'm making sense. I'm confident that if we do this one thing, and we can do this according to University of Connecticut and the Renzulli Learning Center, my understanding is, because I know a lot about this because my local town is in the process of going through this revolution. Figure that, right? So I've learned a lot through that and the research I've done. So within 3 years or so, or a few years, you can transform public schools. There are, according to the source I note in my post below, there are 98,000 public schools in the United States as of 2012 through 2013. It's 2017 now, and it's been a steady rise. I think it's a steady rise. Got to look at the numbers again. But what if in 3 or 4 years we could absolutely convert or revolutionize or transform these schools that are already in these communities, these school districts, into self-directed, self-generated learning adventure camps? I'm telling you, the world, these kids would go out and all the things that we kvetch about, that we adults, that we don't like to see in the world, that we're fighting with each other about, all the bad things that we tend to want to focus on, these kids are going to clear house and just create a world problem, it's a flourishing and a thriving. So if we only do this one thing in 3 or 4 years, we solve all our problems. And I love this idea personally because I'm very selfish. I just want to go to the beach. I want to bury my toes in the sand. I want to have one of those drinks with those umbrella, an umbrella thing, and a really, like a cold drink. That's, when you sip it, you go, ah. As I watch this unfolding of our children who change the world and our culture and our society right before my eyes. I know this in my heart. This is a Gnostic knowing, G-N-O-W, that this is a one step. There's a million one steps through this transition that we're going through. This one. And it's all ease, grace, and fun. Empowered kids who love themselves and respect each other, and encourage each other and empower each other. Unstoppable force of the human spirit. So, I hope I've been clear and concise, and I hope this gets understood, and I hope I dream that it gets applied. But until next time, Take care.